It is Top Secret Tues-Night on the Florida Monkey Patreon channel. If you are here, you are at the $10 subscription level. I do apologize for these videos coming up so late. A lot's going on, of course, at the YouTube channel. Some things that I was doing to inform the training here have completely gotten out of hand view-wise, and it's taken a lot of maintenance to maintain the channel in a way that's something you can at least understand. What we're talking about is confirmation bias, the availability heuristic, and a few other psychological states that affect our judgment. This is a different type of bias. This is called the recognition bias. That sometimes, when given a lot of options, people will gravitate towards things they understand, things they know, things they have experience with. In this issue with Kaepernick and Nike, there's a very odd paradigm going on between the supporters of the current administration and the people that support this guy. Nike made a business decision. Nike made a decision that the people that purchase their products, who are likely to purchase their products in the future, are more likely to identify with Colin Kaepernick than they are to identify with either the owners of the NFL or the current administration. Even the president would understand this. Clearly, this was a business decision. And why it's front page top story on Fox should tell you everything you need to know about what's going on in Fox. We take this mental state that we have covered ad nauseum called the availability heuristic. And just to review, a lot of people take information that's either recent, frequent, extreme, vivid, or negative, and they give it a lot more weight than they do all of the information. In fact, sometimes they even stop searching for any other information regarding a topic because of the way that information makes them feel. This is what we were talking about before. There are all sorts of endorsement deals and all sorts of sporting goods folks that don't have this issue with either the people that play in the NFL, the NBA, or wherever else. It's just this one particular individual doing this one particular thing that has been given such heavy weight. And even in the context of all professional sports participants, it's microscopic. But it's the front page, top of the website for a news organization that says that it covers the world. It's literally not even important in the sports world. It's an amazing study in the attempt to psychologically manipulate their audience. People see things happening in the past that are unrelated to things happening now and then make judgments based on that. All the time. That's why the lottery industry is so big. How is that related? Correlation, we've talked about this, does not imply causation. This, of course, is a chart that says over the last few years, 16, 20 to 2000, the number of pirates has gone down. 17 pirates, 2000, 35,000 pirates, 1820. Same thing with global warming, average temperatures. So therefore, if people would become pirates, that would then cause the temperature of the world to go down. You have this. Probably just about everyone who died at some point in their life was exposed to tap water. This one's my favorite. Scientists tested a frog. They cut its legs off, said jump. The frog didn't jump. Scientists therefore concluded that when frogs lose their legs, they become deaf. It's important to understand that there are people, in fact, there are more people now than ever, that use psychoses to make decisions in their lives. They don't use thought, they don't use analysis, they use feeling, and they use instinct, and not that instinct's always bad, but they don't look at all of the information because they make decisions very quickly. The last thing a car dealer these days ever wants to do is see you walk out the door without signing something, because he knows you'll think about it. And he knows he's probably not the best deal in town. Why this is important to understand in the context of where we started is this. This one story takes advantage of every single one of those psychoses. That somehow, first of all, we make the assumption that kneeling during the national anthem makes this guy less of an American. You might believe that. You might think it's disrespectful. When I was in school, and I know this is anecdotal, when I was young, I remember in middle school, whenever our head coach playing football would speak, he would make us all take a knee. Nobody stood. It was a sign of respect at one time. In fact, men get down on one knee to propose. It's not a sign of disrespect. If it's meant to be a protest against something that's happening in this country, an individual one against the government, if he's doing it, why does it affect anyone else? How would they even know unless there was a giant news organization blasting it all over their headline? You don't pay the salary of the guy. The NFL does. In fact, his team does. This is clearly an attempt to make people think something, feel something, and emotionally drive them like a herd into a state of cognitive dissonance. It's an irrelevant story to literally everybody, no matter what. And it is the top of their page. I've scrolled all the way to the top here. It's literally more important than a hurricane hitting New Orleans. It's more important than a woman who was killed by a pit bull. I can't even, it's almost jaw-dropping for me. And this happens, and I'll do the one on CNN if you think this is a fairness issue. It happens over there all the time. Availability heuristic, where people take information that in this case is negative, frequent, recent. I guess those three would apply. The recognition of Nike. The idea that because things have happened in the past a certain way, A, B, C, that something then completely unrelated will happen in the future. That his negative action correlates with some other positive action on the part of someone else, which it'll have nothing to do with. Leads us to correlation causation. What he does or doesn't do, speaking of Kaepernick, has nothing to do one way or the other with what anybody else does or doesn't do, related to it or not. Saying that he does ABC, therefore he believes XYZ, and because anyone who believes XYZ is then PDQ thing, shows that everyone who's affected by that story at all is one of these people. And this is what we'll leave with. Confirmatively biased individuals. They take facts, they cherry pick out, and then they get input from loved ones who agree with them, and then between those cherry-picked facts and the consensus among their group, they become this hodgepodge of misinformation and emotionality. You can see it all over the Antarctica videos. It's taken off in a way that I didn't think it would, but I'm beginning to realize that my estimation of how many people are totally screwed up in the head right now is way low. Way, way low. There's a lot more people out there that are very mentally ill than I thought, especially in the YouTube audience, because of the way the videos affect them and the quantity of engagement and the type of engagement and the visceral emotional responses I'm getting, the name calling and the diatribes, the 8 and 10 and 12 paragraph things that come from simply a video saying that, hey, look at this weird thing in Antarctica. That's even less relevant than Colin Kaepernick. So I'll let you guys go over these topics and discuss amongst yourselves. Confirmation bias, availability heuristic, recognition heuristic, causation correlation. All apply in the #1 story on Fox. We'll leave it there. Like, share, subscribe.